Hi, my name is Gastro. This is a quick overview of the first part of this blog. Second part, I have a separate video which I will include. The description is there in the blog post. Basically, PANDA, ASD, GERDs, severe gastro problem from birth onwards, or pretty much birth. One of the key issues was this child had a massive number of antibiotics in her early days. So we're going to go and take a look at it and see what we can find. Okay, usual thing is do a quick basic analysis. Jason age criteria. Hey, no problem. Everything seems fine. Nothing sticks out by his criteria. We have a bunch of things which are at a 95th percentile. It's okay. Most people have a few up there. Looking at the potential medical conditions, we see ADHD at 96%, which agrees with that. We also have functional constipation at 95%, which is a reasonably good description of what she's experienced, and something in sleep apnea up there. She raised a specific area of concern, which is cognitive stuff. I went and did my usual way of checking that, which is going to the microbiome view, the tree structure, and I see that she's at 27% of the class level, 27th percentile. So that's not an issue at that. But looking at what is going on the tree, I went and said, oh joy, this is abnormal. And it's abnormal in a rather drastic way. We have a few items which are sitting at 17% of the microbiome, 21% of the microbiome, 21%. All these are 96. When you add them all up, you end up with 4 or 5 varieties absolutely dominating the microbiome. The last one, Bifidobacterium, is one which, in this case, I'm going to put as low priority for some reason. It's typically seen as being high with autism and PANDA. So I'm more curious about the other ones where she is atypical for autism and focus on those. So basically I went in and got suggestions for those and went back in and did the whole kettle of fish routine, got suggestions, went to cake, saw the results there, some specific things. But then I dove into the antibiotics taken, which is listed here, and looked at the values for all the ones she was given. And every single one feeds the microbiome shift she has. In other words, every single one did her a disservice. So that's the list. There were a small number that helped, and I actually dropped the list there. Here is one of the real interesting things. Zifamax was a baddie. A sibling, which is part of the microlide one, is a goodie. Which means that if antibiotics required, no Zifamax, but try to get the MD to do that one, and everything else is basically sort of saying, there's practically no prescription medicines, even off-label, that's going to help. So we end up having to go good old-fashioned supplements, vitamins, etc. She raised the question of the autism and epinephrine, and it was sort of an interesting thing because although most have it, there's a bit of fuzziness because one of the suggestions was for epinephrine, use epinephrine to the gut to be considered. Again, it's something which I'm very cautious about, mainly because there's a lot of complexities. Then I gave links to the literature where she can do more reading about each one of the bacteria, and then a bunch of questions and answers. Okay, with that said, let's do a quick walk through the site using her data. Again, my usual is quickly into health analysis, see all the things, see where there are and 97.6. In some ways, there's nothing that really sticks out strongly. HHC, we have potential of hives. Given her age, it may happen. Coronary artery disease, at her age, no, but long-term, maybe increased risk. Metabolic syndrome, again, all of these are not unreasonable given a severely disrupted microbiome. So far there, no particular thing. And what I ended up doing was going over to the bottom tree, which lists everything out and in this structure, so we can go and see where things are. And the question was Calistia, and the Calistia is sitting there at 26.6, so she doesn't have abnormally high. But if you dig down, we find some which are abnormally high within that family, particularly that genus, which translates into this one, which absolutely is wonderful for causing confusion. But this one is particularly high, and if you look at this number, that actually translates to 18% of the microbiome. It's just one specific species. No wonder it's a 99.7, as it's off the scale. Another one, and then further down, we have another one. Blottia by itself is at 20%, 21%. But here is the interesting thing. If you look down at all of the species in Blottia, none of them are anywhere near high. What it means is that the unknown or unclassified Blottia species, which we have no idea what they are, is causing this abnormally high value. And we go down, and number one, Rheumococcus, we are 21% here, and the bromely. Now, scientists keep rearranging, so we have Rheumococcus bromely here, and up above we have Rheumococcus gravis. They have been reorganized into two different groups. However, to be sure that we are dealing with this same one, we see that this one is all one specific species is the one which is in here, and that's just about it. There's a few odd ones, but it's one specific species. And there, so the procedure is pretty straightforward. You go in and you just put a tick, either ideally at the species level or whichever is the lowest level you have for each one of them. And you just click create a custom suggestion profile, and we have right there, so we have 3 bacteria selected. Then we can just click here and go over and get suggestions for it, etc. And we have the bit of warning about that. Now what we want to do is actually go back, because I want to add in antibiotics, non-drugs, and toss in everything, literally everything. And now we'll go and see suggestions in a new window. Oops. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, long story short, when I did that, originally I ended up, oh, I know what happened. Okay. Originally ended up getting one item in the prescription list done, and it surprised me or delighted me that it is something which is prescribed for autism, which implies, yes, we have a interesting consensus there. Okay, that's basically it. I'll fix that bug on the page, and hopefully if somebody does it later with their own data, you won't see that bug. Okay, bye-bye.